Yes, guys, welcome back to another stream. How you all doing? Welcome in. Hopefully you're all well. Make sure you do drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. We're now eight subscribers away. Just eight people, not 80, not 800. 8 people away from 8,000 subscribers, which is weird, actually. That's weird, actually. I just deep that. That's pretty weird, isn't it, bro? 8 subscribers
Big
away
numbers.
from 8K. Yeah, mate, that's pretty bad. So, guys, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. 8K today, hopefully, and make sure you go check out Tom's channel, which is, I have put it in the title, but I think it's like fucked up a little bit for some reason. I'm not sure exactly what's going on now. I'll try and sort it out in a minute. But yeah, I met Tom for the first time yesterday on the football terrace, man. We had some good chat on there. It was a good show, actually. So hopefully maybe we'll go on. I'll hopefully maybe get on there a couple more times. And yeah, if I do, make sure you guys join me. Follow me on Twitter, because I'll obviously retweet it when I'm going on there. So yeah, it was a good show, man. But yeah, guys, make sure you do drop a like. Morning, bro. How you doing? You all right?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Bit gutted that, for the first time in a couple of years, I'm not, looking forward to a game on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I've got Thursday night to look forward to, but
yeah,
Champions League.
I know.
Enjoy it.
I hear that. Yeah. Well, this show is about Liverpool and their sort of title ambitions. But let me start off by asking you a bit of a deep question, and I don't know where you're going to be on this, but as a Liverpool fan, right? Obviously, your club's won 6 Champions Leagues, which is 3 more than Manchester United, despite them going on like they're this mad historic football club, which only won 2 of those 3 under Sir Alex Ferguson, which is kind of crazy. But do you care about the Europa League? Because one of the reason I ask, bro, is because I think that you have a team that, and obviously we'll discuss this in more detail, could potentially win the Prem. I think it's up there. Has it got the full, complete parts? Has it got the midfield? Has it got the defense? Maybe not. But you don't need a perfect team. You just need a team that is capable. But that Europa League, playing Thursday, Sunday, it is a bit of a killer. Do you really care about it? Would you rather go out the Europa League and really focus on that Prem? Or it's like, where are you at with the Europa League, man?
I think you've got to take it serious. Not like, Salah starting in group stage seriously, but I don't want us to just throw it away and just play all the kids and then go out, because we've done it in the past with Jews, where you throw away the competitions, you throw away the cup competitions because we'll be in better stead for when they slip up, and then Manchester City don't slip up, and you're just sitting there going, well, we wasted that then, didn't we? So our best season for me was the year we were on for the quad, and we stayed in every competition then, and it helps you build momentum. Is there the added risk of injuries? 100% there is, but I feel like we've got the best depth we've had in years now in terms of just sheer number of options to deal with that. So I do want to take it seriously, but you can manage the Europa League a little bit better than the Champions League. I don't need to see the likes of Van Dijk starting or Salah starting or Alisson starting in the group stages when you're away to Toulouse, because they're not massive. You can get away with starting some of the backups there. But it's a European trophy, and at the end of the day, every single one of those is massive, regardless of what like Arsenal fans are trying to tell you.
Yeah, so you've got Toulouse, you've got Lask, you've obviously already played, and then you've got Union Saint-Gilloise. So yeah, I mean, looking at the group, I mean, you should be able to qualify out of that group, and obviously you've already got the first one. You should be able to qualify out of that group without playing some of the main hitters. So then, what you're what you're saying is then when you get through to the knockout stages, maybe you get, obviously the first game you can't, but maybe in the last 16 or the quarterfinals, you get drawn against a good team that got dropped down from the Champions League. You're saying that you'd want to play the Nunez's, the Salahs, the Van Dijks, and that because you want to go for it, yeah.
Yeah, and at this point, we're a club that's built on winning trophies and success. Those clubs don't throw away title opportunities like a Europa League. It's still a big trophy, and the idea that the likes of Salah and Van Dijk don't deserve to play in the Europa League, they do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in the Europa League.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The only reason, like I say, the only reason I ask it is because it's sort of the. So I think someone just knocked on his door. The only reason I ask it, chat, is because for me, Liverpool, like, they do have a squad that's up there and potentially capable of winning the Premier League, but obviously they've got that Europa League, they've got all that, and whether they have the squad in it. And I was just interested to ask Liverpool fans whether or not they actually care about the Europa League. Like, but I guess you only have to look at Arsenal last year and the famous "we have bigger fish to fry." You know what I mean? They got knocked out of all the competitions. They got knocked out against City actually in the FA Cup, was it? I think it was the FA Cup. They got knocked out against City where they played a weakened squad. They got knocked out. They focused on the Prem, didn't win anything. So I guess that is the case. I do find it interesting. Do you think that you got the squad to be able to compete for all the competitions? Like, how do you sort of assess Liverpool's squad at the moment?
I'm happy with the squad, considering the state it was in last year. To see the state it's in now, just a year removed, it's light in days ahead. We've done everything right this window in terms of getting rid of the old, the stagnant, the useless, getting in some new exciting talents.
Mm,
And we've seen the younger ones develop. That was the only good thing about last season. We managed to fast track a couple of players' developments, so they're now viable members of the squad. So that makes us look even stronger. Is it the strongest squad we've ever had? No, but
mm,
is it still a strong enough squad to compete? I believe it is. I really do. We're going to need our luck because we do have a quite obvious deficiency in DM. That
mm,
McAllister shouldn't be playing there. He's so much better further up, but it's sort of a needs must thing. But apart from that, I've got no complaints about the squad. Players who we've doubted at the start of the season, they've turned up and performed, so there's no complaints about them. The midfield is looking light and days ahead, of what it was last year. The attack is looking frightening. There's no complaints from me anyway about the squad. Would I like to see that DM added next season or even in January potentially? 100%,
mm.
because I don't want to keep playing McAllister there and wasting them. But if you just ask me right now, I can't really sit there and go, oh no, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, because we've had a really good start to the season.
How did you feel about the transfer business in the summer? I mean, it was a bit of it started off really, really good. I mean, you got McAllister in early for 35 million, and everyone was looking at that going, fucking hell, how the bloody hell did you get him in for 35 million so early? And then obviously you ended up getting Dominic in again for a decent sort of price. And at that point, I was like, oh shit, Liverpool are looking serious here. And then it sort of died off a little bit. And then it sort of focused more on outgoings. Obviously, you lost Fabinho, you lost Henderson. And then it was a bit like, oh, what's going on here? And then obviously you ended up getting Endo in. Obviously missing out on main targets in Caicedo and Lavia. I mean, it was a bit of a weird transfer window, really. How did you sort of rate the transfer window this summer?
I rated like a 7 or a 7, maybe if you're being really positive, an 8. I thought the first two, Soboslai and McAllister, brilliant piece of business. They are
Mm,
top midfielders, exactly what we needed. But I said that on the belief that Fabinho was going to stay. So you're going to have Fabinho sitting, Soboslai and McAllister just ahead of him. We lost Fabinho, which I'm not 100% against, because
mm,
£40 million for someone who looked like his legs were really going
mm,
because of just how much we played him. You're not going to see that money again. The issue then arises where you didn't buy the DM. We had Lavia, we strung Lavia along for ages, which I disagree with. We kept telling him, look, we want you your first target. And then we refused to pay 50 odd million for him, kept upping the price by nothing. And then put in £110 million for Caicedo at the first possible opportunity. Missed
mm.
out on him because we didn't do the due diligence. Came back with our tails between our legs for Lavia, and he went, nah, I'm not
Yeah.
for that. So
Mm,
then we had to panic buy Endo. I don't think he's been bad, but he's certainly not. He certainly wasn't part of the plan, because I think the plan was to try and get as many midfielders of a similar age range, which is what I
mm,
think Ryan Gravenberch is, and Gravenberch is one I've been most surprised by. Obviously, he didn't have the best season last year at Bayern, but he's come in and he's been brilliant.
mm,
And obviously now we've got the Curtis Jones red card. I think Gravenberch is going to get his first real shot at some extended minutes in the team.
mm,
And I think he'll take them. I think he's a real exciting talent. So if I'm looking at the basis of those three in the midfield together, bit of a defensive like lack, but on the ball it's brilliant. And that was our biggest issue last year, because
mm.
Jordan Henderson, I was sick of Jordan Henderson. I know he was a nice leader, but my God, that man did not know how to pass a football at times. Fabinho, the physicality was just gone, and then you
Yeah.
felt sorry for whoever had to play with them, because it was like having to do 3 man's jobs at once. So to see now that we've got a midfield that is cohesive and able to keep that work rate going, fantastic. Much needed change, and when we were challenging at the top, the midfield was the most important part because it could outrun anyone. It was never going to be technically gifted, but it could outrun anyone. Now we've got a midfield that is as technically gifted as most in the league,
Yeah.
and can outrun most in the league, which is a nice sort of change and evolution.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Do you think that because for me, right, I look at Liverpool's team and I go, I think, I mean, you touched on it earlier. I think your attack is unreal. I think it's unreal. I think Salah, Nunez, and Luis Diaz. I mean, that is seriously frightening. Power, pace, everything you've got. Clinical. I mean, even Darwin Nunez is getting a little bit more clinical this season. Still needs to improve, but he's getting up there. The question for me, and this is what I've said, I think that your defense and midfield isn't good enough to win the league, in my opinion, right? Because I've seen you too many times this season where I just think this team, they're conceding way too many chances. But your attack will get you out of shit situations more often than not. So the thing that I'm looking at, the sort of equation is, will your attack get you out of more bad situations than your defense and lack of a DM will put you in? Now, so far this season, you got to say, yeah, obviously the weekend was a madness. You can't really look at that. You know what I mean? So far this season, you've got to say yes. But I just think over the course of a 38-game season, there will be enough games where it happens, your attack just doesn't fire and you will drop too many points. Like, how much of a concern do you think your defense and lack of a six will be throughout the season in sort of title hopes?
The lack of a six is the main one. I'll be honest. I think the defense looking frail at points is a byproduct of the lack of six.
I said that as well, actually, to be fair. I don't think Van Dijk has been as good since his injury. I think Robertson's dropped off, and we know Trent's not the best defender, but I do think that they're actually being exposed more because
they're just facing more attacks.
I
if you
agree.
face more attacks, you're going to concede more goals.
Yeah.
It's not their numbers haven't really dropped off in a sense. Like, they're putting in less tackles and intercepting the ball. The defensive numbers have stayed as they were when we were in our pomp, but more attacks are getting through. And as more attacks get through, then you're going to concede more chance and concede more goal. I don't think it's as big of an issue as it can be made out to be by certain people. I think the lack of a DM is the biggest problem. But if you're able to address that with someone in January, like we were after some Brazilian fella, maybe you get him in. Maybe Endo suddenly kicks on and settles in. You've got more of a natural DM to sit in front and just cut out some attacks. Everything looks a lot better. The defense for me has been fine. I think Joe Gomez has stepped up a lot this season. He's performed really well. Matip surprised me with his performances. Obviously, he's got the own goal on Saturday, but he had a really good performance beside that. Kanate, I think he's one of the best young defenders in the world if he can just get over these injury problems. Would I potentially like to see a more natural left centre-back to come in for Robertson's role? Maybe, probably, because I feel at times he's wasted at left centre-back. He's too attack-minded, but the defence for me hasn't been, a major problem. We only conceded, before the Tottenham game, it was 5 goals. It was the second best defensive record in the league. We hadn't conceded in the second half at all this season until the 96th minute of the Tottenham game. Do we start games slow? Yeah, there's an argument to be made there, but the defence, for the most part, is solid, and it helps when you've got, for me, the best keeper in the world behind you, who can help bail you out in those situations. Maybe that's a good thing for our defence. Maybe it's a bad thing because it protects how leaky it is sometimes. But I think we're fine as a defensive unit, but we're just facing more efforts, and that's naturally going to change unless we somehow up our defensive levels, which I don't think is going to happen. I think we're almost a little bit too complacent with our defensive levels. So facing more opportunities, you're going to concede more goals unless we're able to get that proper DM in.
So what is a good season for Liverpool this year? I mean, obviously, last year was a horror show, really. I mean, for a club like Liverpool to finish outside the top 4 was a madness. I know you went on a mad run towards the end, and that was decent. But although, funny enough, if you would have won your final 2 games, you would have come in the top 4. Is it for you simply getting back into the top 4? Is that, or maybe top 5? Obviously, now this year's been a bit of a madness with the new rules. Is that okay? Are we taking a sort of Arsene Wenger, getting into the top 4? That's fine. Or are we looking to challenge City for the title? Like, how much of a jump Because obviously you finished on 67 points last year. City finished on 89. That's quite a gap. What is the sort of the expectations and hopes for you for Liverpool? Because for me, just quickly before you say, I think that Liverpool have the team to be able to push City. I don't think you have, like I said, I don't think you've got the squad to win it. But I think if you finish outside of 10 points for City, I think that'll be disappointing. Genuinely, I genuinely do.
I went into the season going, I'd say third place, a Europa League win, and a FA Cup win. Now, the last two are sort of non-negotiables. We need to win trophies. The big stain almost on this Klopp era is we've been one of the best teams in the world, but we've got like a fraction of the trophies to show for it. So I want us to start getting more trophies under the belt. The league position, at the start of the season, I was saying third because of the lack of a DM. We've been able to. It caused us some problems so far this season, yeah. But we've also shown that I don't think any team can stop our attack when it gets going. And once you add the creativity in the midfield, get Trent back in the side because yes, he might be a bit lax defensively at times, but for me, he's the second best creator in the Premier League behind De Bruyne. Get all that back in, and you have the attack that can cover up your defense. So for me now, I'm looking at it going, I think we should be looking at second in a title challenge because Arsenal play nice football. Arsenal had a good season last season. But for me, Arsenal still lack the experience and the know-how that we have. Yes, I know you've lost Henderson and Fabinho and Milner, good experienced pros, but we've not lost everyone. Half this team was part of the team that won the Champions League and the Premier League. You know, these players know how to get the job done in these situations. So I expect us when at the back end of the season when the pressure's on, when a team crumbles, it shouldn't be us. It really shouldn't. So the only way I see us winning that title is if, the midfield issues you got at the minute. So, like, obviously De Bruyne is out till January.
Yeah.
Bernardo, he's struggling with an injury right now, but he should be back soon. Rodri's suspended. We would need major, help in terms of your lack of availability. So if Rodri was to go down for a couple of months or Haaland was to just suddenly go down for a couple of months, 100% squad against 100% squad, we're not beating you because we're not ready yet. So we would need massive amounts of luck to get there. But the one thing I've been saying is, should that happen, should the injury problems cause City to fall off, I believe we're best placed to step in and take that top spot ahead of Arsenal based on how we start the season.
Listen, I've sort of flip-flopped a lot this year, and I'll happily accept it that I have flip-flopped on who is City's main title challenger. And at the start of the season, I was saying Liverpool. Because I just felt that Arsenal hadn't done the business required. I feel that the Champions League will impact Arsenal. And I think Liverpool's attack is frightening. But I have flip-flopped on it a lot because whilst Arsenal this year, for me, don't look as good as they did last year, they're still getting the results. And I just think that over the course of the season, I just think that defensive issues, whether it be the DM or the defense, whatever, or combination of the two for Liverpool, will end up costing you. But I don't think Arsenal and Liverpool finish too far apart. I think that for me, I think that you'll be both in and around second and third, and it'll just probably be a bit of luck as to who finishes where. For City, you're right. For me, Rodri's the key. Everyone likes to speak about KDB and Erling Haaland. For me, KDB, I think that I don't think we're going to miss him that much in this period. I think you don't want him to go down in the business end of the year for me, because I think that's where you want KDB. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen his record in like April and May.
Oh, no, I know about KDB at business end of the season.
Yeah,
when he got 4 up Molineux.
Yeah, he's a fucking freak. Because what I said is, right, in this period of the season, you got the Champions League group stages. Well, look at our group. We should qualify out the group without KDB. You got the Carabao Cup, which, in my opinion, Pep just don't give a fuck about anymore. We won it 4 or 5 times in a row, and then I just think he went, "Yeah, fuck this competition." And every for the last couple of years, we've just got knocked out early on. And the FA Cup doesn't start until Kevin De Bruyne's back anyway. And the Premier League, it don't really matter if you're first or top or third or whatever in the Premier League at Christmas, which is what I was saying to Arsenal fans last year. I mean, you'd be top at Christmas. Arsenal were top basically all year and didn't win the league. Like, so long as you're not a million miles away, it doesn't matter. So for me, the KDB thing's not the issue. The actual issue is Rodri. And I've said this even before he got suspended. Rodri is our connector. He connects our defense to our attack. He actually started scoring goals now. He's creating chances. He's the one that is the cog in our team. And if you take him out, we are just like a team that doesn't really know how to transition. And you've seen that a little bit in the Newcastle game and the game against Wolves. So I think he's the one where really...
I think he's 100% your most important player. Watching him last season,
I agree.
I think the best game we had was when, against you last year, was when Roberto Firmino was told to just basically stand on him. Rodri still had a decent game that game as well, but we had to basically sacrifice an attacker to try and mark Rodri out the game because he's so important. And I think as well, for a team that has such world-class depth like you do, especially in defence, God, I wish we had that defensive depth. When you go from Rodri to Calvin Phillips, it's just such a stark drop-off.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's that stark that's not even a thing anymore. You know what I mean? Because Pep will not start Calvin Phillips in any serious game. And there are some City fans that get a bit fucking butthurt when someone says something like, "Oh, we need to be supporting him." You can support him as much as you want. At the end of the day, Pep wanted rid of him in the summer. He said you can leave on loan. You know what I mean? He's not started in a single game this year other than the Newcastle game. We lost. I mean, last year, one of the only games that I can remember him starting, Southampton, we lost. Like, so there's
He's got like some awful starting record for you. Like he started 5 and lost 3.
Is that true? I mean, I don't know if it is, but it sounds probably true. You know what I mean? Because he's playing. I mean, to be fair, when he does start, he starts in a game where none of our key players usually start. So Haaland won't be starting, KDB won't be starting because he starts in games that we don't really care about. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the problems with Rodri is almost too good, right? To the sense that you can't drop him, you can't rest him because when he comes out the team, you're just a completely different side. And people will say, sell Calvin Phillips and buy a replacement DM. The problem is, if we buy a replacement DM, they're still not going to play. And they'll be on the bench week in, week out because the drop-off will... even if you go out, right, and get like, I don't know, an up-and-coming mint CDM, the guy's not going to play football. So, I mean, everyone knows that if you just take a player who's not played football for 6 weeks and put him in the team,
It's not going to go well.
It's not going to go well, man, because they need to play regular football. And this is one of the reasons I say it will not work out for Calvin Phillips. I can guarantee it will not work out for Calvin. I mean, most people know that anyway, but because for Calvin Phillips to have any chance to work at Manchester City, he's got to play at Manchester City week in, week out to understand the game, understand the system, and get match fit. Well, that's not going to happen because Rodri's playing. So I actually think City will realise this and look to buy a midfielder, or maybe they might think Kovacic could do it, who is not a DM but can play DM, like Gundogan. Because we had Gundogan, who wasn't a DM but could play DM and do it to a decent level. I mean, we beat United 6-3 with him in the team. We won the Centurions with him in the team at DM. So I think that's the way to go. Calvin Phillips, actually, interestingly, was linked with Liverpool quite a lot. Would you take him at Liverpool?
If I could guarantee I get the Leeds one back, yeah, but not the one that is currently at City now, who just seems to have more problems.
Well, to get the Leeds one back, you'd have to play him. And maybe the first couple of games would be a bit ropey, but if you stuck with him,
the
you'd
thing
probably
he'd
get the
probably
Leeds one
play
back.
for us because of the severe lack of a DM. Like he'd probably get a lot of game time, but the injury problems, I just would rather go out and get someone younger, someone who can grow with. Like I think people seem to forget Calvin Phillips is like 27, isn't he? 27, 28. Like he's not exactly the youngest anymore. He's not some young prodigy. He's supposed to be entering the prime of his career. So if it was I need to get a DM in, like deadline day, someone like Endo's went down, I have a desperate need for a DM for 6 months, maybe get Calvin Phillips in on loan. But he's certainly not someone I'm dedicating 30 million transfer budget to. I think that time for him has been and gone. And to be honest, I understand why he made the City move.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was the right move. I really don't. I think he was someone who, you get them players who are better as big fish in little ponds.
Yeah.
Calvin Phillips was practically, Leeds. When people thought of Leeds, it was Rafinha and it was Calvin Phillips.
Yeah.
When he went to City, that atmosphere changed, that quality changed, that almost lifestyle changed. I don't think he's that very well. Obviously, he had that whole thing last year about coming back overweight. And I also don't think the whole stuff with the national team, he doesn't play and yet he still gets picked. Like, that's not going to push a player on or spur a player on. Like you said, he only plays with the second string unit, but he struggles to stand out amongst them. I mean, against Newcastle, I thought he was awful, but you brought on that you didn't bring him on. He started there, Oscar Bob, the
Yeah,
right
yeah,
winger.
yeah,
I thought he was brilliant,
yeah,
but they're the
yeah. He
games
was.
where Calvin Phillips should be outshining those sort of players, and
Yeah,
he's not.
yeah, yeah. No, that's facts. Aside of sort of Rodri and Calvin Phillips, what have you made of City this year? Obviously, there's been quite a lot of changes. We've lost quite a lot of players. Gundogan, Mahrez, Laporte's left, but we brought in some as well. Kovacic, 25 mil. Gvardiol's come in. Jeremy Doku, Nunes. I mean, what have you made of City so far this season?
I don't think you've played as well as you have done in previous years, but for the most part, you've got the results. I think, unlike what people were saying yesterday, I thought Wolves was just a bit of a freak one. I thought you battered them. They had, what was it, like one shot on target and scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
Neto had a good game, but I thought he's done everything right defending him. It's just it's the rub of the green sometimes with Ruben Diaz's own goal. You showed him by line and just took a
I mean,
deflection.
it's not too dissimilar from the Matic one, really, is it?
Yeah, defenders have to take that risk there because you don't know who's in the box. Beyond that, I think you've played well. I think the big thing I always run into with City is you've got, for me, the best striker in the world in Haaland, and yet you run through spells where you don't create, or he doesn't fit the way you're creating for a couple of games. And when he doesn't fit the way you're creating, you might as well be down to 10. And I think that's where, Alvarez would be better up front because I think he can link up, but you've got to use Alvarez on the wing at the minute because I think Grealish is just coming back from an injury or something. So, I think you'll click into gear again. 100% you will. I've seen too much of this City team against Liverpool in the past couple of years to know you will just click into gear later on in the season. But for me, I've been most impressed with the defensive unit. I'm someone who likes watching defenders. They're like my favourite part of the pitch to watch. Ruben Diaz is so good. I wish we had Ruben Diaz alongside Virgil van Dijk. He's ridiculously good. I think Gvardiol will be a really good signing. I think he's got all the tools to be the right left centre back for the City team. And I think people seem to brush under the carpet that John Stones has been injured. And John Stones, for me, was the best centre back in the league last year, arguably the world last year, in terms of everything he'd done. When he's back and you're able to field Stones, Diaz, Gvardiol with Rodri in front, dangerous. And that's what should be worrying people. I think I've been impressed with certain players. I think I hate him, but Bernardo Silva is world class. He's absolutely brilliant. I think Alvarez is, really good. I didn't realise he had 3 kicks in his locker, but he's got them, and apparently they're really good as well.
No, I don't think any City fan did, man.
He's just started pulling them out, which is, another notch to his bow. Haaland, you'll be fine. I think losing Gundogan is a big blow. Mahrez is another one that I think is a big blow. And the replacements will come in time. I think Jeremy Doku's a fantastic little player. I didn't expect to see him do what he's doing at City because the whole narrative is, Pep turns players into robots. No, Pep Guardiola's letting Jeremy Doku do what he needs to on the wing, and it's producing results. I mean, the ball's going through him almost every single time at the minute, and that's a good thing because he's got most defenders, on toast. That's the matchup that worries me a little bit when we play used Trent against Doku, because I think Jeremy Doku can cause Trent a lot of problems. But you'll be fine out.
So you think City are going to win the league then?
Oh, quite comfortably. Quite comfortably. I don't think any one of us, i.e. us or Arsenal, are nears.
What about Champions League? Do you think City could win the Champions League again? Because you look at the Champions League, bro, and
it's not that strong.
What I know. I mean, I'm basically doing watch-alongs now for basically all Champions League big clubs. I watched Bayern Munich twice this year against Leipzig for the Copa de Germany, whatever the fuck it's called, and they were shit. I watched them against United, very average, very average. Watched Real Madrid against Atletico Madrid. They got battered, and their defense looks like fucking shit as well. And I'm looking at them. I'm thinking, who else is there now? Apparently, Barcelona are meant to be decent this year. I think they got beat the other day, but they're looking good. I've not watched them. PSG. I mean, can you take them seriously? And I don't think any of the Italian teams are just quite up to it. So I'm looking around thinking, hang on a minute. I think we can win it again. And I've said for years, I think soon as City win one, we could potentially go on and win a couple.
Once you get over that voodoo, it just starts getting easier and
Exactly.
easier.
Because, bro, what if you think about it genuinely, right? What stopped City from winning the Champions League in the past 6 years? It's the fact that City have never won the Champions League. I mean, does Pep make that stupid decision against Chelsea in the final if we've already won a Champions League? No. Does my team crumble against Real Madrid with 3 minutes to go in a Bernabeu, concede 2 goals if we've already won the Champions League and we've got the know-how? No. You know what I mean? And I just think that, you know, the games against Spurs, the games against Liverpool, like, we weren't massively shit in any of them games. It's just experience, you know what I mean? Opening up to Liverpool at Anfield, Monaco years ago. So I think that genuinely, I mean, the only thing that I would say is cup competitions, the best team doesn't always win it, right? You know what I mean? Like the Premier League, if City are the best team, City will win the Premier League. The cup competitions, you do need a little bit of luck, a dodgy refereeing decision here or there, a mistake from a defender, missing an open net, boom, you're out the competition. And it's like, wow, how did that happen? But I'm looking around and I'm thinking, fucking hell, like we could legit do back-to-back Prems, back-to-back Champions Leagues here. I really do. I think, you know what I think he might do this year? I think he might fuck off the FA Cup because we've got the Club World Cup in December, and I want to ask you about that in a second. And I think he might just look around going, like, we've won the FA Cup a couple of times now under Pep. We won a treble last year. Let's go for the Prem, Club World Cup, and Champions League and do sort of that. But let me ask you about the Club World Cup, bro, because obviously your club was in it. Your club was in it a couple of times, but was it 2 seasons ago? I think he was in it after winning
2019-20. That's
2020. I mean, thinking back to then, how did that impact your season? Because it comes slap bang in the middle of the season at a pretty dodgy time. Like, it's the worst time, really. I mean, scheduling wise, it probably couldn't be in a worse time of the season in December. Ours is in Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure where yours was. How did that impact your season? Like, do you remember how it was before you went and how it was when you come back? How did the players react to it and stuff?
Yeah, I think it had a direct impact in the sense that it got us knocked out the Carabao Cup because our tournament starts on like the 16th of December and we had to play a Carabao Cup game on the 15th and they wouldn't move it. So we ended up rocking up to Villa Park with a bunch of 16-year-olds. And El Mohammadi scored an own goal against a bunch of 16-year-olds and celebrated like Jude Bellingham. So that's the good thing with being out the Carabao Cup for you. You don't have to worry about that. That was a big blow for us because I think that was the year we could have done multiple trophies in one. But in terms of the effect afterwards, it was good for us because we won it. We came back, done Leicester in 4-0 and built another strong run of momentum for the next 3 months until the Watford loss. For you, if you just do the same thing, you'll be fine. The big one will come if you lose it because we were in it in 2006 and we lost in the final. And then for the next couple of months after that, the form was a bit inconsistent. And maybe it's a mental thing about missing out on a trophy. The one thing I've realised it's a lot bigger for the South American players than it is for we just look at it and go, it's 2 games is what it is. But apparently for the South Americans, it's like some major trophy. It's like their version of the Champions League. You win that, you're the bet. You know, it really means world champions for them. So, for the likes of Alvarez and stuff, it'll be really, really big for them. If you win it, it's like what the Carabao Cup was, like how Pep used to do that. It's a mid-season boost for you. You win that, you get a trophy under the belt. It gives you that momentum. It gives you that pride to push on and build another run. It's a pain in the arse though, because it's in the middle of the season. Your players are going to be a bit tired. It's ideally when you want to rest them, but you can't because it's a big tournament. You want to get that trophy under the bag. It's just a bit of especially being out in Saudi Arabia. I mean, ours was out in Qatar. It's just miles out the way. And I think next year they're changing it as well to make it more of a tournament thing. So that's just going to be even more of a ball ache. But you'll be fine in it. I mean, I don't even know who's in it this year. I think you've got like Flamengo or Fluminense. You've got like Man City are quite comfortably the best team in it. That's the one thing you've got to understand.
I think that's you mentioned about the South Americans there. It's interesting because like I can honestly tell you that in my 29 years of existence, I have never watched one single Club World Cup match. Because, like, bro, I couldn't tell you anything about it. I didn't even know the format of the tournament until City in it. Because, like, Why would you need to know? It's not like I'm going to start watching Liverpool in it. You know what I mean? When they're in it, like why would I watch Liverpool then? I'm not going to watch United when they went or Chelsea. So like, I literally have no fucking idea what the competition was until we won the Champions League, and I was like, oh shit, we've got to go win this tournament now. Like up until that point, I was like, I didn't even know what it was. Like the fact that we only played 2 games, man. I thought it's like a full-on tournament where you play like 5 matches. You played 2 matches, man. You're in the
It's
semi-finals.
so weird. It's such a weird tournament, and the fact it's just like I wouldn't have any issue with it if it was just at the end of the season. Like once you finish, you go off to Saudi Arabia for like an end of the season tour and go play 2 games there. But no, slap bang in the middle of the season. I mean, what happened was Ox got injured in R1 in the final, so he missed a month afterwards. He gets injured most of the time anyway, but that's also a concern if you pick up an injury in what is a meaningless tournament for most of us. You'll be fine in it. I think the only difference this time is the Saudi clubs actually have some like decent players. I think like Ittihad or Al Ittihad or whatever they are in it.
Yeah,
You got like Benzema and Kante and like that's like the decent team in it. For us, the biggest team we faced was like Flamengo.
yeah. So in ours, yeah, we got Al Ittihad in it, Auckland City, they're from Australia, FC Leon from Mexico, Al Ali from Egypt, and Ura Red Diamonds from Japan. City will play either Club Leon or Euro Red Diamonds because them 2 play each other. So they're playing each other in the second round. We must be seeded or something, so we automatically go into
we start in the semi-finals.
Yeah, and then we will play in the final, providing we get there, either Al Ittihad, Auckland City, or Al Ali. So I think we play one of them. But listen, it's a bit of a madness. What you're basically saying, if City go in and win it, you think that could be a good boost?
It's a big boost for it. It's a big momentum boost. I think winning any trophy mid-season is, which is why I think the likes of Arsenal fans and Chelsea fans and United fans say, no, I don't need the Carabao Cup. It's I want to go out of it. We've got bigger fish to fry, all that sort of stuff now.
Yeah,
because the most important thing in football is momentum, and there's no bigger momentum boost than winning a trophy.
Yeah, no, factual information. Right, before we wrap up, guys in the chat, if you've got any questions for Tom or myself, a little bit of a Q&A, then fire them in the chat now, and we'll get them done. Let me just whack that on screen. Make sure you like the stream, by the way. Subscribe to the channel. Let me see if we've got 8K subs, man. Make sure you subscribe to Tom as well. I've sorted it out now. His link is in the title, so you guys can go and subscribe to him. Yeah, guys, we're still 8 subs off, man. 8K. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Smash a like on it. But like I say, get your questions in, and we'll fire them in. Let's have a look at the league table if there's anything. Tottenham, what are you making on Tottenham, bro? Are they serious? I mean, they're on 17 points, 5 wins, 2 draws. They're playing some good stuff. For me, their problem is if Maddison or Son gets injured, then maybe even Basuma, then I just think they'll drop off, man.
They lack depth. They lack serious depth. I mean, I thought that I wasn't really that impressed by them on Saturday. I don't think I was expecting this free-flowing football side, and I thought we were the better side when we were at 11v11 and 10v11. I thought we were doing more stuff. They'll be all right. They'll get top 4 quite comfortably because I don't think anyone else really could. I think Newcastle are going to struggle with Champions League. I think United are just a shambles. They're releasing more statements than they've got points, and Chelsea is just
so bad.
It's hilarious how bad Man United are.
Bro, they've got worse. You know, my thing is with United, right? Is like, why are United fans so reluctant to criticize Ten Hag? Like, I was on with Saeed on Monday, and I was just like, the guy's so reluctant to criticize Ten Hag, and I'm just like, I don't get why. They brought in a manager, right? When you actually deep it for a second, this manager has done very little in football, right? Because you know what's funny? People put shit in the chat, right? But then you can fact check shit. So I remember saying, what has Ten Hag actually done? He's won a couple of Eredivises, I'll give him that. But let's be honest, like winning the Eredivisie with Ajax, like it's not the most difficult thing in the world. Like, don't get me wrong, like you got some decent teams in the league, Feyenoord and that, but it's not the most difficult league to win with Ajax. Like that's not really something that you should be massively cheering about. So then some guy in the chat, bro, right, he went, you clearly didn't check his fucking Champions League record. So I went, all right, I know he got to a semi-final, but then he bottled it in the semi-final. His team crumbled.
Tottenham of all teams.
Yeah, to Tottenham. So, okay, yeah, he got to a semi-final decent, but then his team did crumble. And then so I went on transfer market and checked every Champions League
I think he got knocked out in
year.
the group stage the year
Bro,
after.
he got knocked out in the group stages, I think, twice in groups that were not even that difficult. And then in the other year, I think he got knocked out in the last 16 to Benfica. So I was just like, bro, like these people come in the chat and say shit, and it's just like you do realize we can actually check what you say, just like you can check what I'm saying. Like you can't just come in the chat and start saying all the shit and then expect me not to check it. So that was pretty funny. But I got some questions here, man. Who do you think will get? Well, we know City. You said City before, but who do you think is going to get top 4 year in order? I'll give mine. I think it's going to be City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham as my top 4.
Yeah, I'll go City top, Liverpool second, Arsenal third, Tottenham fourth.
Yeah, I think honestly for me, I'm not just saying it because Tom's on the show. I think Liverpool and Arsenal. I just think there's nothing in it.
I just think the experience will do us good, and I think this will be another year for Mikel where he learns something, and what he learns is you need to stop playing Saka every single minute of every single game, otherwise he's going to break down, and you haven't got good enough depth for him.
I agree, 100%. That's why I said they should have signed with someone else in the summer. Question for you here, bro. Do you think Liverpool will get a DM in January?
I hope so. There was some. He plays for Fluminense, Andre Trindade or something. Apparently, he's decent. If he's the DM that the club want, get him in. I think we do ideally need someone who can sit at that base and free up McAllister, but it all comes down to what's happening with Thiago because he might as well be dead for all we know. You don't know where he is, but he can sort of do the DM spot. So if he's back and you can get an extended run of games out of him, then maybe the club put it aside for until the summer.
Yeah. Steve here with an interesting question. If Liverpool lost Salah to an injury, do you think they could still make a title push? Or is he that crucial to your team? Is he your Rodri?
I think he's... Yes, pretty much. But I think he's arguably even more important than Rodri because right now what he's doing is... We all know Salah's the goal scorer. He gets you about 30 goals a season. But right now he's putting up 25 assists a season. So not only are you losing goals if he goes, you're losing goals he's creating if he goes. I mean, out of this season so far, if you take away Mo Salah, we lose to Chelsea. We, I think, draw to Bournemouth. We draw to Newcastle. We beat Aston Villa. We beat Lask just about. I think we draw with West Ham. And we lost to Tottenham, but we would have lost by more to Tottenham. Like Salah's been doing everything for us this year. There's not a bad way I can say about him. You lose that, especially because like Arsenal, our backup to Mo Salah is a 17-year-old Scottish winger who I think he's fantastic. Bendo certainly not ready to pick up the Mo Salah sort of thing. So if we lose Salah.
Bro, is Salah the best player you've ever seen play for Liverpool?
I think Steven Gerrard is the best player I've ever seen play for Liverpool in terms of natural ability. But for me, if you were to ask me for my Premier League greatest ever Liverpool player, it's Salah.
Yeah, I mean his numbers are crazy.
I think Salah's entering that conversation with like Henry and stuff when people actually deep his numbers and what he's achieved on an individual level.
I think for me, right, I think when you look at Salah's numbers, I mean it's fucking ridiculous to be honest. His numbers are scary, man. And I think that's why obviously he was in such a tough position in the summer with the Saudi cash coming in. I think that Saudi cash will be there again in this summer, and I think that will then be difficult because he's got 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah, he moves into the last year of his deal next year.
I think if the Saudis come calling, I think he's gone in the summer because if they offer you 120 million, right, and he's got 1 year left on his deal, are Liverpool really the club that can reject 120 million pounds for a player that's got 1 year left on his deal? Especially if Salah's like, listen, lads, I'm going next year on a free transfer if you don't sign because I want to go and get that Saudi bag. Like, I think Liverpool are in a bit of an awkward situation now. I think he goes next summer, me.
The priority has to be getting him down to a new deal. But if he doesn't want to, then you've got to get the most money for him, unfortunately. I still think he, for me, is, in my opinion, the best player in the league in terms of just his output, his effectiveness. And we are going to struggle to replace that. But if he wants to go, I reckon you can get closer to 200 for him because he is the face of Arab football. And whatever Saudi team gets him, he's worth hundreds of millions of pounds just in revenue he's going to get them from shirt sales and stuff. You only really realise how big he is when he's at your club. It's mental.
Nah, bro, we had the same with Mahrez, man. Like, honestly, when Mahrez was playing at City, the amount of Algerians that had just come in.
Yeah, I've never seen so many Egyptian flags before.
It's they're very passionate. They're very passionate fans. We'll finish it off with this one. Ian says, does Tom feel like decisions will go Liverpool's way now after the Tottenham era?
Probably, but I don't like that. I'm obviously there's been a whole carry on with it, and the idea that Liverpool are pushing for a replay. No, because that's just mental. We're not going to get a replay. But I just want the standard to improve. And that's going to be across all boards. I can't just expect the standard to improve for Liverpool.
Bro, quick question. What do you make of the lack of audio? Do you think this is sus, or do you just think
it's stupid? They're so quick to release the audio when they get something right, aren't they? They're quick. It's straight out there. It's look at how good the PGMOL are.
They do.
The one time we want to listen to it, they're sitting there going, "Oh, don't know. Oh, we want to protect them." If you want to protect them, you wouldn't put out a statement blaming them.
Yeah, I think honestly, bro, I think there should be a portal, right? I think there should be a portal where every single VAR communication is uploaded to, and then you, as a fan, we can go and listen to it. Because the problem that I've got with this year with the VAR is, by the way, I'm fully against VAR. I fucking hate the thing. I didn't want it in the first place, and I don't like it now. But the problem that I've got with VAR is, be transparent with it. Like, I'm not a fucking idiot. I know there's going to be errors, which is why I'm not really like fucking going in on this referee, because for me,
he's done nothing wrong.
No, it's a communication error. The VAR guy actually said the goal should have stood. Well, he didn't say that, but like he that's what we're being told, that he said it was basically onside, but he just didn't say it. He just said check complete because he thought the on-field decision. Right. So he's made the correct decision. It's just a communication. Listen, mistakes happen, errors happen, but let us listen to it, man. For me, the PGMOL, the FA, the Premier League, they should, in my opinion, let us have access to every single VAR communication to improve transparency, to allow us to listen to what's going on. Because what you're getting now is you're getting some fucking foolish Liverpool fans going, "Oh, there's a conspiracy. These referees were in the UAE. City have paid them." Well, actually, all that's probably happened is, there's a major flaw in the VAR communication of the decision where no one's thought about it, but what's actually happened is the guys thought that the decision on field was a goal. He's just gone, yeah, check complete, and then boom, the play continues within 2. Because obviously what happens is while they're reviewing it, if he's give offside, the free kick's there, the play's ready to take it. So as soon as that referee gets told check complete, play on, goal. I think all they need to do is, because this is what I don't really get about some of the flapping. All they need to do is say to the VAR assistants now, when you give your decision, you don't just say check complete. You say check complete, goal given, check complete, it's offside. You have to say the decision, right? And also, they should implement a 10 to 15 second grace period where if for whatever reason you say, yeah, check complete, goal given, and the referee gives offside because he's not heard you, the VAR person is allowed to go to the referee and say, yo, what are you doing, bro? You've given offside, kill the game. It's a goal.
That protocol rule is the weirdest thing. The VAR can't intervene if plays restarted, but it can in certain situations, but it can't
I also don't really buy the fact, bro. Yes, the referees would have got in trouble. Like, I just don't buy that. In my opinion,
get in trouble for making the right decision.
Yeah, so the guy kicks off. If you're telling me that 7 or 8 seconds later, the referee goes, "Oh shit, it should have been a goal. Sorry, lads, we fucked up. It's a goal." You really think that people are going to be going, "Oh,
I just love to know what these people think the meeting would be like." Like Howard Webb sitting down after the game goes, "Look, massive cock up from VAR there. You saved it there. You done really well there. You've rewarded the goal. You saved us from a massive shit show. Now where's your P45, mate? Because you didn't follow protocol 16."
Yeah, nah, that would not happen. That would not happen.
Look at the shambles they're in now.
Yeah,
they would have happily avoided this if they just broke protocol.
And actually, you know what? It would have been a blessing in disguise, because then what they could have done, bro, they could have gone, hang on a minute, how come you give a goal, but he give a free kick? And he went, because I thought the on-field decision would, and then they could have gone, oh shit, that's a flaw in the system. Let's edit it now so that never happens again. By the way, you did the right thing, mate, stopping the play. You know what I mean? I think they've.
I just want the audio to be released. They probably won't ever release that publicly, but I will give 50 quid to whoever at Liverpool just accidentally uploads that audio when we get sent it.
Well, I think we'll get the audio anyway, bro, because Howard Webb's doing this monthly show now, isn't he, with the Premier League? They've done one already where they...
Yeah, but they curate that. The one I wanted to see last time was the one for the McAllister red card, because that one got overturned. I wanted to know how they got the wrong decision there. Just ignored that one,
but bro, they will not get away with not giving us this. They cannot. Howard Webb cannot stand there on the Premier League show where they are... The specific show is about VAR decisions and listening to the thing. He will not get away with standing there and just going, oh yeah, we're not talking about the Liverpool situation. He won't get away with it. He won't.
They'll gloss over it, go, oh, it was a human error. Now let's go to one we got right and spend 15 minutes on this one. And you're sitting there going, I don't care.
Yeah,
that's not what it's about.
I actually agree. I don't think they should really cover ones that they got right, because they shouldn't be there bragging that they got. That's your job, mate. You know what I mean? So stop bragging about it. You know what I mean? Just do one thing you got wrong.
I think VAR can work, but I think I've got no issue with the system. I've got an issue with the people who operate it, because if you've got the same people, VAR was brought in to help the mistakes being made on the pitch. The mistakes will still happen if the people who were making the mistakes on the pitch and other people operating the system, because you've not got rid of the mistake part.
Yeah.
The mistakes are the common denominator there.
The problem that I've got with VAR is people are always going to moan about it, bro, because most of the decisions are subjective. You know what I mean? So other than the offsides, which obviously usually are right, and the goals, which is goal line technology, every other decision on that football pitch is subjective. So, for example, the Curtis Jones red card, I think it's a red card, right? But you actually wasn't too sure. You said either way, didn't you? But there'll be Liverpool fans saying, no chance, he got the ball first, blah, blah, blah. None of us are right. It's just an opinion. I'm not going to sit here and say you're wrong. My opinion is it's a red card. Fucking look at the image, right? I know he's got the ball first. For me, I don't care that it's a red card. The other guy will say he got the ball first. He's gone over, the ball's impacted his foot, and that's why he's ended up hitting the leg. Right? He's right as well. Both opinions are right. So how is VAR going to make a decision on?
I don't get when they send them to the monitor. The whole thing of sending them to the monitor, I thought you sent them to the monitor to let them have a second look, but apparently all you do is send them to the monitor and then just tell them why they're changing the decision. And they walk over and they go, right, this is what's happened. This is what you're going to do. And I'm sitting there going, so you might as well referee the game then. If you're just going to change the decision, you referee the game. I thought it was there to help the referee, not referee the referee. And when these rules are changing, when you see mistakes like this, VAR was always going to be contentious. But everyone would be fine with it if what should be a simple system worked.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. And the 14 apologies in 14 months are proof of that. I've never seen, and they have the audacity to turn down stuff that helps them.
Oh, like they send me off, the offside.
We are not the highest standard of officiating in the world, because we get no referees going to major tournaments. And yet we have the audacity to turn down helpful technology and send our referees abroad like the cream of the crop. When in reality, they just need to sit.
I agree. I think the semi-automated offside should be in. I think it is. I tweeted this before this whole Liverpool thing happened. I think Howard Webb has massively fucked up, and the reason I think he's fucked up is because the arrogance of that man to implement this rule about kicking the ball away, yellow card, time wasting, yellow card. Adding on the minutes for time wasting, any sort of dissent, yellow card, all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? And then doing that whilst officiating levels in this country as bad as they are. Like, I'm all fine for doing all, like, say, like, refereeing this country is like pretty much the best in the world. And he says, right, now it's the best in the world. We're going to take all these extra measures and start doing all this extra stuff. But they're doing that when the referees are bad. And actually, I'd argue that it's actually making their jobs harder, because they're now giving yellow cards for stupid shit. Well, I've been a referee, right? And the hardest thing to do as a referee is get that second yellow card out, because you're like, shit. Because no referee wants to send a player off. So, you know, as a referee, to give that second yellow card, you're doing everything possible to say, can I keep him on the pitch here? Can I give him a stern warning? Or do I have to get that second yellow card out? but you're making referees do that a hell of a lot more because everyone's getting booked for doing stupid shit. So I think he's done. I
Half
think
the
he's fucked
time
up
these
there.
new rules aren't even enforced. Like I don't understand why the ones that I don't get, the dissent one, yeah, because some of the stuff that gets said to referees is just stupid and they let it go. You need to sort of get a grip on that. But booking someone for doing that, I think is just stupid. I think the kicking the ball away one has to come with an nth degree of, has he boosted the ball away or has he touched it?
Yeah.
Because some of the ones you see getting booked for the ball rolling away, like that's never a booking. What also doesn't help is I call them like an authoritarian. Like they want respect for the referees, which is correct. Referees should get respect, and they try to humanize referees, which is the correct step, and then put them on a pedestal higher than managers, players, fans. You're not allowed to criticize them, otherwise you get fined. You're not allowed to do this, that, or the other. But have respect and sympathy for them. It's very hard to respect and sympathize with someone who just seems to be on a different level and yet on a different pedestal, and you can't relate to in any shape, way, or form. They need to try and humanize them. And shockingly, the way to do that is to expose their errors, let them come across as just human. Maybe have one or two of them do a couple of interviews, make them react to just normal people. Because what they do now, where it's almost like propaganda. They just show the good ones, show the good ones, show the good ones, show the good ones. VAR's boss, it done this, it done that. And you're going, well done, you've done your job. You've done what we pay hundreds of millions of pounds a year. The Premier League pays hundreds of millions of pounds a year for you to do that. Well done. Now, what about this, and this, where you cocked it up?
Nah, listen, I agree, but I think the whole dissent thing has gone way too far. Like, bro, it's an emotional game. It's a passionate game. There's trophies on the line. There's big careers on the line. If I'm a player, right, and there's 5 minutes to go in a game and I'm losing 1-0 in a game that potentially might stop my team from winning the league, and the referee gives me a decision that I think is wrong, I'm going to call that referee a fucking dickhead. You know what I mean? Because why? I'm passionate, I'm emotional, and I think he's made it. If I'm getting booked for that, then you're taking all the emotion out of the game. We all know there's a line and there's a barrier, and if you cross that line, you know what I mean. So you start being a proper twat to the referee, going up to his face. You make any physical contact on the referee at all. We all know that's a yellow card, and in some cases potentially even a red card. But there was one, right, and I can't remember what game it was. It wasn't even a City game. I can't remember who it was, and there's a couple of players around the referee, right, and the captain walked up to the referee to have
It was Wolves. It was Wolves last year when Lamina got sent off. So you got two people going around him, and Lamina starts to walk over, and he goes, "Right, stop this. Second yellow, off you go." And Lamina sat there going, "What have I done? I haven't even said anything yet."
It's mad.
That's crazy. Where it gets too. We're trying to change the advanced rules without even having a proper understanding of the basic rules.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Referee's gone woke.
And now the added time stuff as well.
Yeah. Oh, the added.
Well, the minutes about the time. Oh.
Yeah. Well, the 50. Listen, you've got to obviously stop time wasting, right? But again, it's the fact that they're bringing in all these extra rules and shit when they can't even do the basic job right, which for me is the main thing. Listen, we're gonna wrap it up there. Big up to everyone for joining, man. Hopefully you've enjoyed this stream. If you just joined us now, the first part was speaking about Liverpool, Tom giving us thoughts on that, and then obviously we spoke about City, and then we just ended on a bit of a tangent there towards the referees, which was always going to happen in the stream, I think. But guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream if you've not done so already. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. We're going to get 8K subs today, man, which is sick. Go check out Tom's channel. The link is in the title. Go over there and sub up. And of course, if you are watching this back on the replay, you're not watching live, then give us all your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. I do check them all out. I can't reply to every single one, of course, but I do read them all. So give us your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and I'll check it out. I'll be back later on. Leipzig tomorrow. We're going to get some previews on that. Potentially going to do a watch along of a game tonight. I might let you guys decide. I'll put a poll in the community tab, so keep your eyes on that, and you guys can vote on what game you want to do a watch along on. But other than that, Tom, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you dropping by, man. No problem. Guys, I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.